Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back to FishOfHex. Today we are doing an email / Instagram Q&A. Now this is my first time introducing the Instagram. Am I going to do it in the future? I'm not really sure, but I did have a few questions I figured I'd knock out for the sake of the video. And yeah, so if you're new to the channel, this is where you guys send in all your questions to fishofhex@gmail.com, and they will be answered in the order in which they're received. Try to not send me pages and pages of questions. Just try to keep it to a paragraph so I can, you know, put it in the video. Basically, I don't have to weed through, because usually when I get an email and it's, you know, it's like 400 paragraphs, I'm like, shit. I can't put that in the video because it's going to take forever, and it's going to take me, I'm illiterate as anything, so it's going to take me 3 years to read it out loud anyways. So yeah, try to keep them short for the sake of the video. And one more thing before we get started, thanks for all the support for the new content this week. Started the podcast, did the first two videos of that, and they were just introductions, and we're going to be moving on to guests and different topics later. Trying to do 1 to 3 of those videos per week, and yeah, so that's about it. Let's go and get started. Okay, our first question is from Instagram, and it is, do you use activated carbon? The answer is yes. I use BRS ROX 0.8, and I use about 2 cups, and I change it out, I don't know, usually once per month. I will admit, sometimes I forget. I do have it on a list of things to do every month, but you know how that is. So ideally, you want to change out your carbon every 30 days. So yes, I do use carbon. Next question is from Instagram here, and it is Millie Reef. Let me go ahead and pull this guy up. Hopefully it's a guy. I think it's a guy. And it says, hey Travis, hope all is well. I'm in the process of setting up my saltwater mixing station and was wondering if you could run if I could run the main supply RO line from my slop tank in the basement and keep my RO DI unit upstairs next to the RO mixing station. Would the head pressure be enough? It's going to be about 20-foot run. Any advice? Greatly appreciated. Thanks, bud. Okay, so if you're keeping your RO DI unit upstairs and you have your, I guess, your slop tank or your storage tank downstairs, yeah, that's not going to be a problem. I have people run it even longer than 25 feet. It's not an issue. Usually head pressure is never really a problem with RODI units, at least on the output going to your storage tank. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, and you should be good to go. Okay, our next question is from Instagram. It's from RJ Mull, M-U-L, and it says, hey, I was just checking out one of your videos, and you mentioned not running J-Bows at 10%. Do you think that's true for the J-Bow gyre as well? Yes, I don't think you should run any of those Chinese power heads or gyres under 30%. I try not to go below 30%. I have found that, you know, at least in my instance, if I keep them pulsing and they're going on and off, I say 0 to 100%, that's fine, or they're staying consistent above 50% or even 30%, they're fine. But if you start kind of dipping below 30% and fluctuating around that range, I find that it just burns up the motors quickly and they don't last as long. Now, it could just be manufacturing process, but from what I've heard, what I've read, what I've seen, and what I've experienced, don't drop them below 30% at this point. I know before I tiptoed around that 10% range, and then you know, they just died off. So you probably were seeing one of my older videos where I was learning the lesson during the process. So yeah, try to stay above 30% if you can, and you should be good to go. Okay, our next question is from Instagram, and it's from CT Reefer. Hey man, I wanted to ask you a quick question. I have identical lights to your 300. I watched your YouTube video. You never said how long you keep the T5s on for. Thanks, Ryan. Okay, Ryan, when it comes to the T5s, I probably did answer this during a live stream. Or this is a kind of an older question, so I probably already answered it during a live stream. But anyway, when it comes to my T5s, I let my LEDs ramp up, say at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And at 9 a.m., that's when the T5s will kick on. They'll stay on all day until 9 p.m., which they'll turn off, and then the LEDs will ramp down to 10 p.m. So they're on basically 2 hours less than my LEDs, and I keep my LEDs on pretty damn long. So I just do that because I only use T5s to fill in the gaps of light between the LEDs and just kind of cut down on shading and the shimmer effect and stuff. And they just, of course, they do provide a good amount of light to the tank. But I don't kick them on early because it's part of the ramping up of the LEDs, and they just, you know, I don't want to blast the fish first thing in the morning. It's good just to have the LEDs wake everybody up, wake the tank up, and then have the T5s kick in. Okay, our next question is from Instagram and is from Redbeard Aquatics. If you don't mind me asking, how long do your acros typically take to recover from fragging? I got my first acro today, and when I was dipping it, one of the tips broke off. Okay, well, when it comes to healing, it really depends on the system, but most of the time, most people find that the coral will heal and start to encrust within 2 weeks. Typically, when I do my cut-to-order frags, or I do any of those custom packs and stuff, I always cut the coral and then give a delivery or a ship date at least 2 weeks out, if not longer. I prefer to wait at least 3 weeks, but 9 out of 10 times the coral is healed and starting to encrust within 2 weeks. But again, this is my particular system. I did notice in the 125 it took a little bit longer, and again, I think it's just system dependent. Lighting, you know, nutrients, everything. I think it all just plays a role, but on average, usually a couple weeks, and you should be good to go. Alrighty, our final question from Instagram for this video is going to be from Williams JD96. What do you use to cut the holes in the glass of your tank for plumbing? I like to use a diamond-coated drill bit from BRS, at least that's where I usually get mine from, and you're going to have to match up with the millimeters regarding, you know, what size bulkhead you have. I know that they do offer a chart and a comparison at the bottom of the drill bit. At least description there tells you what size drill bit fits what bulkhead. But yes, you're going to want to use a diamond coated drill bit. You're going to want to use water to help cool the bit during the cutting process, and you want a reliable drill if you can. If you're going to use a battery operated one, make sure it's completely charged, and take your time. I do have a bunch of videos out on how to drill a tank, and the most recent one was setting up that 50-gallon lowboy for a local guy. Not really local, from Virginia, but still pretty local. And yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, and good luck drilling your tank. Okay, so let's go to move on to our email questions. The first one is from Todd, and it's called Mars Aqua Lens Removal. I watched your video on removing the lenses on the LED boards of the Mars Aqua 165. After watching, I thought, damn, that's easy as hell. I went slower than you did, and they came off easily. Put everything back together and turned it on, and nothing. No lights at all. Disassembled again and inspected the board and discovered that diodes on about 8 of them came off with the lenses. I only did the parameter, but now I have a light that doesn't work. The fans work, but no lights. The missing diodes broke the circuit, I guess. I could do the SB board, but that's money I don't have. Any recommendations? This just really sucks, and my kind of luck as usual. Love watching your content. It's good stuff. All right, man. Well, Todd, I'm sorry that happened. When I took mine off, I didn't have any of the diodes come up. Obviously, I wouldn't have put the video up knowing that, even if that was a possibility. This is the first time I've heard of that happening, and it could be something that they're doing so you don't take the lenses off. I mean, who knows? A lot of that stuff is cheaply made. They probably got glue on the diode during the process of putting the lens on there. That's what I'm guessing. And when you took it off, there was just enough glue on the diode there to pull it off as well. What you could do is you could bridge the circuit with, oh man, soldering. Oh my God. Oh, someone's gonna get me because I didn't say soldering right. Whatever, flux or whatever you want to call it. Someone's gonna give me shit. It's gonna be funny. Can't wait, guys. But anyway, you could bridge the gap and complete the circuit if you want. But personally, if it was me, I would chuck the board and get the SB reflay. I know you said you don't have the money for it right now, and this email is from January 11th. Hopefully you figured it out. I would like to know what you actually ended up doing, and I am sorry that happened. With that said, I'm probably going to go ahead and take that video down so nobody else has an issue with that. Okay, our next question is from RM Shashity. Hopefully I said that correctly. Hey Travis, I picked up a red sea star a few weeks ago. It's been doing good, moving around the glass, eating film algae. I woke up today with 3/4 of an inch of its leg missing from the power head. There isn't much information on the forums if they can recover from this in a home aquarium. It may be dead by the time you read this. No, it's not, because you sent this on the 1st of April, so freaking better not be dead by now. But wanted your thoughts on recovery. I'm going to buy the guards for the gyre for the future. Unfortunately, I can't find the guards in the Octopulse. Okay, first thing about the guards. If you guys want a specific guard made for a specific power head or a specific power brick or anything like that, you might have to send it to me, and I can get it made and have it turned around back to you within a few days, okay? It's just, I don't have everything here. I can't make all the guards, and I will give you the guard for free just for the sake of allowing me to make it and you know, have it up for sale for other people. So keep that in mind. Now back to the starfish. I think it's going to be fine. I think it's going to recover without any issue. Believe it or not, people buy chocolate chip starfish, cut a leg off, feed it to that damn shrimp, and then put the starfish back in the sump, and then they just cycle starfish, let the leg grow back, and they continue the process. But they have multiple starfish that they do this with. Now, I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine. I don't know how bad it was shredded up, if it was a clean cut or if it was good. I mean, don't go in there and cut it. Just leave it alone. But they're pretty good at growing back their limbs. Now, if it was to happen to like a blue Linkia starfish, I'm not sure because they're extra sensitive. It's going to be dependent. I don't really know if the one you have is as sensitive as, say, the blue Linkia, or even not as sensitive as the chocolate chip. So just going to take time. Keep a stable water environment. Don't remove it from the water. Don't play with it. Don't touch it. Just let it do its own thing, and try to get some guards for your power heads. All right. Okay, our next question is from Robert. It's called Gonia Placement and Warfare. Can Gonia pora touch each other? I don't know what species I have, but could find out. What can Gonia pora touch? Question mark. What should it touch a Gonia pora? Question mark. How fast do they grow? Can I frag them fast enough to keep the warfare down? And do I need to run carbon to control the Gonia pora chemical? All right, so Gonia pora is pretty resilient coral. They are fine when they touch each other, they don't like touching any kind of LPS when it comes to like plate corals, frog spawn, torches, hammers. Keep them away from that. They don't like that kind of stuff. They seem to be okay next to SPS, but the SPS themselves don't like being touched by Gonia pora. And the chemical warfare really isn't a big deal with them. I don't really, foresee them being an issue. They do like other soft corals. They're fine with zoanthus and stuff, but again, eventually they're going to compete for light. Someone will lose, but it won't be something that happens overnight. When it comes to fragging them, I wouldn't. Just put them in their own little colony together, give them room to grow, and leave them alone. I wouldn't really worry too much about fragging them because you're going to cause a lot of stress, and it's not going to be very easy to frag inside of a tank. You kind of got to take it out and cut it on a saw for it to frag efficiently. Other than that, they grow pretty quickly for the most part. I mean, it's LPS, so I mean, it's decent. Okay, it's faster than, it seems like it's faster than frog spawn, torches, and hammers, but they're nothing near SPS, of course. And yeah, as for carbon, you should be using carbon in general for a reef tank. Not a lot of it. Just do your recommended per your water volume, and change it out every 30 days. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question, and good luck. Okay, so our last question, better yet, 2 questions for this video, come courtesy of Carlos, one of my paid members here. Hey bud, question about bristleworms. I used some rock from an established tank in my water box, 20-gallon. The tank has been up for 5 months, and today at feeding time, I see them coming out of the rocks. Are they okay, or are they pests? Okay, bristleworms aren't really a big deal. I might have answered this already in the Q&A from Sunday, maybe. Anyway, either way, bristleworms, yeah, they are considered a pest. They're not really a big deal. They don't bother coral. They don't bother fish most of the time, unless the fish is kind of ill and laying at the bottom of the tank. They're just scavengers. They're not really a big deal. If you have a problem with them, get yourself a nice juicy wrasse, and he'll take care of all the bristleworms in your tank without a problem, at least the ones that he can access. And yeah, I really wouldn't worry about them too much. Moving on to the second question, I saw another reefer use crushed coral pieces as gravel in a refugium. It won't release the calcium unless introduced to CO2, right? Question mark. And by the way, upped my monthly donation. Thanks for the advice. Hey, thanks for the support, Carlos. And as for the crushed coral as gravel in a refugium, that's fine. You can use it if you like the look of it. And again, it won't release any calcium or alkalinity unless it is introduced to CO2, and you're gonna have to drop that CO2 down pretty far, at least under 7, which we aren't rocking in our reef tank, so I wouldn't really worry about that. So yeah, so that's about it for the video, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to send them to fishofhex@gmail.com if you want to be part of these videos. If you have short, simple questions that you don't mind other people maybe answering in the comment section, go ahead and put them there. And yeah, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys later. All right, peace.